Hello to guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're watching a video, Vedic and European Slavic cultural connections from channel Project Shivaham. Someone recommended to me this video and thank you so much because it's really very helpful. So give me a thumbs up and let's watch.
Europe has always been a mosaic of cultures, languages, and ethnic groups. While today we recognize modern nations like France, Germany, and Poland, the continent was once home to a vast array of ethnicities with distinct traditions, languages, and belief systems. Ancient and medieval Europe was shaped by diverse people such as Celts, Germanic tribes, Finnic groups, Balts, Slavs, etc., each contributing to their region's rich history. Among these, the Slavic people or the Slavs emerged as one of the largest and most widespread groups. Originating from Eastern Europe, they expanded across vast territories, forming the powerful kingdoms and civilizations. Today, in this short documentary, we are going to learn something very special about this great Slavic people. Now, who are the Slavic people? As said, they are the largest group of people in Europe who are native to Europe, at least in last 1500 years, who share similar languages and history and culture and ethnicity. They're divided broadly into three main groups: the East Slavs in countries like Russia, Ukraine, Belarus; West Slavs spread across Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and parts of Germany; and South Slavs spread across the countries like Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Slovenia, so on and so forth. Particularly Russia, Ukraine, and Poland, they house almost 65% of world Slavic population. I think the world Slavic population is around 350 million plus minus. So you get the math. So Russia, Ukraine, and Poland, the natives of these regions form majority of the Slavic population. As we know, one of the largest language families in the world, the Indo-European language families, and that gives an interesting perspective into how the Indian subcontinent and the Slavic Europeans share certain common linguistic traits. If you look at this branch, it's about Sanskrit, the mother root of all the Indian languages, which includes the Dravidian languages also. I know that a lot of you would disagree, but truth has nothing to do with your personal opinion or my personal opinion. Sanskrit forms the bedrock of all the languages, that includes Tamil as well. Now let's focus about the Slavic European languages. Now if you see these part of the languages, where you see the Proto-Slavic, the Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, so on and so forth, they have very interesting similarities with Sanskrit, and let's try to understand from that context the relation or kind of the similarity between the Slavic Europeans and the Indian subcontinent from a linguistic point of view.
Yeah, I've heard
For ease of expression, I picked up Russian, which is the largest spoken Slavic language, and then took the Sanskrit on the other side, which is the basis for the Vedic civilization / Indian civilization. Now, if you take a look at these words, fire in English is Ogon in Russian and Agni in Sanskrit. Same way, water is Voda in Russian and Udaka in Sanskrit. That's where actually the word vodka comes from, Voda. And then air was the Vayu. Sky in Russian is Nebo.
It comes
and
from
in Sanskrit
Sanskrit.
it is Nabaha. And same way the door is
it's
Dver
funny.
in Russian and Dwara in Sanskrit. Path is Put in Russian and Padha in Sanskrit. Anything new that we say, it's used as Novi in Russian, and in Sanskrit it is Nava. Same way, death, mortyo, and mrityu. Tooth, dent, dant. They're pretty similar. I'm not saying that Russian and Sanskrit are exactly same. That's absolutely not the point. They have common root. Now, certain politically and religiously motivated people will forcefully bring in the Proto-Indo-European and all that nonsense. That's a different story. I'll not get into that. My only point is Slavic and the Vedic civilizations have very similar linguistic traits, if I can put it that way. Now let's get to the name of Slavic itself.
Yeah, I want to say, I will stop the video, that really there are some similarities between Russian and Sanskrit, but they are not very obvious, you know. For example, like Russians can't read Sanskrit very easily, right? We all understand it, but really some of the words are similar to each other.
What is the meaning of Slavic? Slava in Russia means great or glorious. Same way, Shravaha in Sanskrit means to glory or great, a honorific word, so to speak. So the word Slavic and Shravaha
means glory
also share similar linguistic aspect, which is the meaning. It means the glory. That is the reason at the very beginning I said the great Slavic people. Well, the name itself means that Slava means great. The Russian word for god is Bog, B-O-G, Bog. And the Sanskrit...
I never thought about it, that Slavic people, like, it takes roots from the word Slava, which means great. I didn't know about
bhaga.
it. It's really
They share
interesting.
a striking similarity due to their Indo-European linguistic roots. In Sanskritam, bhaga means divine, fortunate or lord. And in Russian, bog means god, divine, anything of the higher power, likes of it. This is yet another example of how Slavic and Vedic languages have a similar way of conceptualizing divinity as a giver of fortune, showcasing the deep linguistic and cultural ties with ancient Indo-European family of languages. When you talk about religion or culture, about Europe and Russia or the northern parts of Asia, what comes to mind? People think of it as a Christian side of the world, right? That's fundamentally incorrect because Christianity is born in, or rather was born in, the Middle East, and it expanded to Europe, or rather forcefully imposed on Europe. Europe had a lot of native cultures. It has been a tapestry of rich cultures and traditions and languages locally. Christianity is forcefully imposed on Europe in the last 1500 years. Slavic people had their own specific religion, their gods, their folklore, the rituals, the traditions, everything. Now, a simple question that we need to ask is, the Slavs and the Indian civilization are linguistically connected, geographically connected by land. So common sense puts up the simple question that, are we culturally connected also? Let's try to find it out. Before that, just one important thing. I make videos for people who are genuinely interested in learning a subject, and I never intend to make content to satisfy the ego of either extreme right or extreme left people, because I'm sure this video can be used in different ways than what I actually meant. So I want to make this statement very clear. By no means I'm saying that Slavic people followed Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma. Now let's get started and you'll get to know why I made that statement. In Indian languages we have the name called Shweta for girls, right? It means white. Same way in the Slavic languages, there is an equivalent name for girls. That's Svetlana. And in the Slavic languages as well, Svet means white. So starting with the first god of the Slavic people, Svetovid. The name is so easy for any Indian to understand. Svetovid, it's two words. Svet means white, vid means knowledge. And that's exactly the meaning in the Slavic languages as well. Svetovid is a four-faced god which the old Slavic people once worshipped. Now at the outset, visualizing a god with multiple heads is something that's very core to Hinduism, and the similar manifestations of the divination or the divine entities in Slavic religion, it also follows the same construct. So if we focus on the epithets of this divine entity called Svetovid, he is revered as Slavic god of war, wisdom and divination, symbols four-headed manifestation with four horses. The temple once used to be in Arkona in Rügen Island, sacred for the prophecies and war outcomes. It's in the northern part of Germany, and the region where Svetovid was worshipped back then was in the West Slavs, that is Poland, Czech Republic, parts of Russia and Ukraine. And the influence spread across Baltic, Slavic regions beyond the northern German part. Svetovid is very much reminiscent of Brahma, who is always portrayed in white robes, and the supreme divine entity who holds the knowledge of the Vedas. Now, I'm not saying that Svetovid and Brahma are same, but the epithets, manifestation, purpose, qualities, all these aspects match. Here what we need to understand is the cultural nuances, cultural similarities. That's what I want to highlight. Now, what you're seeing here are the archaeological remains and the statue of Svetovid that was once worshipped, and then later with the Christian destruction of Europe, all the idol worshippers were literally persecuted, or the religion is imposed on them in a very violent manner. So in the rightmost part, what you're seeing is a depiction of how the temple was back then, where people, the Slavic people, worshipping Svetovid, the four-faced god. And here you see the idol that is still preserved. And the only difference between Europe and India is after invasions, the idols of the native gods of Europe went to museums, but the idols of Bharat were luckily still worshipped in the temples. You understand the difference? The second god in the Slavic pantheon is Perun. Here there is no nuance. It is exactly the same god. Varuna Deva in Vedic culture is Perun in Slavic culture. Perun was the highest god in the Slavic pantheon, revered as the god of thunder, lightning, war, and justice. He was often depicted as a mighty warrior with a fiery axe. His temples were prominent in the ancient Slavic regions, particularly in Ukraine and Russia. Regions where Perun or Varuna was worshipped in the Slavic culture was Poland, Ukraine, Russia, Belarus, and Near East Slavic regions. Influence of Perun as a god in the Slavic world, as the protector of the heavens, warrior god associated with the storms.
He's
and
like
wars similar
Indra,
to Thor and Zeus.
kinda.
By the way, Thor and Zeus is also a shared epithet of the Vedic gods, the Norse gods, and the native European gods, the Greek gods, the Slavic gods. It's all connected. In this video, I'm just focusing only on the Slavic gods. In the next videos, I will open up more on the native European gods. Up next is Mokosh.
Ooh,
Mokosh was a
okay.
major goddess in Slavic mythology,
Mokosh.
associated with earth, fertility, water, and women's fate. She was revered as a protector of women, overseeing childbirth, spinning, and weaving. The word Mokosh definitely sounds very similar to moksha, but it has nothing to do with that
Moksha,
word. Rather,
yes.
it is a manifestation which is
Yeah.
similar to Bhudevi in Sanatana Dharma. Another Slavic god is Zorya. At the outset, it appears like Surya,
Zorya.
which is correct to a certain extent, but not
Surya.
exactly. Zorya is
Yeah.
actually a trio of 3 goddesses in Slavic pantheon. Zorya Utrenyaya, Zorya Vechernaya, and Zorya Pulunochnaya.
I don't know
So the
about
ancient
those
Slavic
guys.
people worshipped the
I
planet
heard about
Venus
Perun, but
as
not
a
about
gatekeeper
biscuits.
for sunlight. Hence, 3 manifestations. Zorya Utrenyaya, the goddess of dawn, associated with Venus as the morning star who opens up the gates of the sun. And same way, Zorya Vechernaya, the goddess of dusk who closes the gates of the sun, and Zorya Pulunochnaya as the guardian of the sunlight during the midnight. So it is one planet with 3 different manifestations, and the name very much related to Surya, what we worship today. Like any other
Yeah.
human civilization, Slavic people also worshipped sun, and they called sun with the name Dasbog.
Dasbog.
Dasbog in Russian or any other Slavic languages, if we try to break it down, it's 2 words. Das plus Bog. Bog, I already explained at the start of this video. Bog means God or Bhagwan in the Indian equivalent. Now Das means, it again comes from the shared root. Data means to give. Same way Das means to give in Slavic languages. So Das plus Bog is the god that gives quite literally everything. So that's how Das Bog / Surya is worshipped in the Slavic pantheon. Next is Triglav in the Slavic pantheon. Triglav is a
Triglav, I
significant
know.
deity in the Slavic pantheon, particularly worshipped by the Western Slavs. His name, which means 3-headed, reflects his portrayal as a deity with 3 faces, each representing a different aspect of existence: heaven, earth, and the underworld. This triple nature symbolizes the unity of time, fate, and divine power as per Slavic beliefs. What you're seeing on the left is a very ancient idol of the Slavic god Triglav, the one with 3-headed manifestation. The concept of a 3-headed god is not unique to the Slavic traditions. It shares commonalities with other divinities like Trimurti in Hinduism, indicating a broad cultural significance. Even though Christianity forcefully erased all these local cultures and beliefs across Europe, it is still quite evidently visible in aspects like this. In Slovenia, there is a mountain, the highest one I guess, if I'm not wrong. It is called as Mount Triglav, in the honor of this deity, the Slavic deity Triglav. And
Triglav.
also in the flag of
Wow.
Slovenia, you'll have this
I
three-peaked mountain
didn't know about
Triglav
these
present
facts.
in their flag itself. But they still hold on to their old and rich
Wow.
Slavic traditions. Like this, there are many Slavic gods in the Slavic pantheon, the supreme deities, gods of nature and elements, gods of war, wisdom and protection, gods of love, fertility and underworld. Like this, there are many gods in Slavic pantheon that has very close cultural, linguistic and divine epithets, very common with the Vedic Hinduism and the Slavic pantheon. Now again, I repeat, I'm not saying that the Slavs followed Hinduism. That's not my point at all. But the cultural similarities are very much visible and as clear as day.
Yeah,
That it has been
I
a
agree
shared
with it.
culture throughout. Now that's one part of the story. The other side is, since Europe and Bharat has similar cultural identities, religion and ethnicities, the native ones I'm talking about, some set of people will say that Hinduism came into Bharat from the Central Asian region or outside somewhere in the Europe. That is also fundamentally wrong. These people are actually motivated to say that Hinduism is foreign to
I
Bharat,
heard
and
about
they are
this
speaking
idea.
nonsense. I'll tell you why. If you take these divine entities like Svetovid or Triglav, if you ask people the history or the literature or the ancient ancient scriptures about it, the divine manifestations. Unfortunately, poor guys, they completely lost it to the Christian destruction. But here in Bharat, even though it has been under constant occupation for last 1000+ years, we still have each and every part and piece of our scripture and the temples intact. So that itself shows that the Sanatana Dharma is very much native to Bharat. Anyways, coming back, so that is in brief about the Slavic pantheon and how the Slavic and the Vedic cultures had certain shared epithets when it comes to divine manifestations. Of late, over last couple of decades, a good thing that we could see is the Slavic culture is getting revived after the forceful destruction of the Christian faith invasion into Europe. For over centuries, they got converted, but then they are now finding their roots back. Kind of gore log ke ghar wapsi. One of the important ritual in the Slavic traditions is Kupala Night. It celebrates the summer solstice with rituals focusing on fire, water and fertility. Held typically between June 23rd and 24th, it involves lighting bonfires for purification and good luck. People also float wreaths with candles and leave them on the lakes and rivers, symbolizing love, fortune and connection to the water spirits. The mythical fern flower is believed to bloom this night, holding certain magical powers. Kupala Night honors sun, nature and earth cycles, bringing communities together for dances, songs and a celebration of vitality and renewal. Couples also jump over bonfires, believe that it strengthens their bond. So all this is very nice. That's how culture should be, diverse, rich, celebrating the spirit of life, living with the nature, not with some sense of, or rather nonsense of, a constant fear of hell and heaven. You know what I mean? Wish that the Slavic people find their roots back and connect with their native cultures and traditions and live a colorful life. With all that done and said, leave you up there. As always, thanks for watching.
So guys, I want to say that I loved this video so much, and you know, this topic inspires me a lot, and if you noticed, I really pay a lot of attention on it on my both channels, and I really like this idea that our cultures are kind of similar to each other, and that's the real truth that Christianity was imposed on Slavic people, and before Christianity we actually were pagans. So we had a lot of gods, we worshipped nature, and that's the real fact. Like, we can't forget about it. But one very sad thing that Russian people mostly don't know about all these things. They forget about their culture, about their roots, because it is considered that paganism is like bad, you know? Not all people consider paganism as something bad, but there is this idea among people, so I think that's why. And also a lot of idols were just destroyed, as he said in the video, and people just, you know, they decided to be more Western. I mean, we celebrate a lot of Western holidays, for example Valentine's Day, or what else, Halloween, right? But we forgot about our traditions, about our customs, and I really don't understand why, because our customs are actually really great, they are very old, and we have a lot of interesting things, but people forget about it. He said also about some festivals that are still alive in Russia. That's real truth, not only in Russia. That's real truth. About Kupala Night we celebrated, but mostly people celebrate it in villages, and they consider it, you know, like a funny event, not a festival, just something funny that they can, you know, enjoy. And also soon we will have one pagan festival which is called Maslenitsa, and this is one of the most popular pagan festivals that are still alive in Russia. And I have an idea to make a vlog for you. I want so much really to make a vlog for you about it, because it's very interesting. It's one of the most interesting festivals in Russia, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm thinking to go to one place and to record a video for you. So I hope so much that I will be able to do it. It will be celebrated on the end of February, in the beginning of March. Also, it is called, Week of Pancakes. If you've heard about it, let me know. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your opinion about our cultural connections, and also you can subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, and see you in my next videos. Bye!